Hello, I'm Justin Driscoll, Interim President and CEO of the New York Power Authority, known as NYPA. Good morning to everyone here in New York, and good evening to everyone in Israel. Shalom. I'm here at NYPA's headquarters in White Plains, as I said, a little north of New York City. And while we're recovering from a weekend snowstorm here, I understand that you've also had some snow recently and watched the snow come down in Jerusalem. Welcome to the club. Regrettably, we can't all be together, but thanks to Zoom today, we have the ability to announce in real time an opportunity that will benefit our collective efforts in transition to a clean energy economy. First, I'd like to acknowledge some of our partners, including Ambassador Asaf Zamir, General Counsel of Israel in New York, who I had the pleasure of meeting this past December. We will hear from him shortly in a tape message. Anat Katz, Israel Minister for Economic and Trade Affairs, who is here with us in White Plains today. Welcome, Anat. And in Israel, Elad Shaviv, CEO of the Israel Smart Energy Association. Dr. Gidon Friedman, Chief Scientist for Israel's Ministry of Energy. Our friends at Startup Nation Central, and several of our Israeli partners at Prisma Photonics, Emprest, and Bren Miller Energy, who will participate in a panel as part of today's session to talk about their work with NYPA. I'd also like to recognize Doron Gover, head of NYPA Israel Innovation Hub. And of course, our very own Alan Edlinger, NYPA's head of research, technology, development, and innovation, who will provide details regarding the Smart Energy Challenge application process. Lastly, I'd like to thank Lauren Merkel from Empire State Development, our sister state agency, who represents New York's business priorities in the international community. As you will hear today, NYPA and Israel have much in common and face similar technological challenges. This is particularly true when it comes to providing clean, affordable energy, pursuing new technologies to decarbonize our environment, and running our power systems more efficiently. Because Israel is a global innovator in the energy field, we are eager to learn and benefit from your extensive experience. And we say this from some experience here at NYPA, where we already have strong partnerships with several Israeli companies. We're monitoring transformer health with Emprest, developing battery storage with Bren Miller Energy, and using Prisma Photonics, artificial intelligence, and fiber optic sensing technologies to detect disruptions on our transmission lines, and launching cybersecurity initiatives with SIGA OT. As we launch the new NYPA Israel Challenge today, we're excited for another win-win relationship. The challenge winner will get to work with the US market, and we will gain additional access to cutting-edge developments that will help us achieve Governor Hochul's nation-leading clean energy goals. NYPA is recognized as a first mover when it comes to clean energy technologies. Continuing along this path of innovation with our Israeli friends will only make us both better. Let me share a little bit about NYPA. We're America's largest state-owned public power utility with 16 generating stations and over 1,400 miles of high-voltage transmission lines. We provide affordable, clean, and reliable electricity to businesses, nonprofits, community-owned electric systems, and government entities. We're leading the transition to a carbon-free, economically vibrant New York through customer partnerships and innovative energy solutions. To this end, NYPA is pleased to stand with the Israel Smart Energy Association here today to officially launch the 2022 NYPA Israel Smart Energy Challenge. We're specifically seeking companies headquartered in the state of Israel that have startup technologies that will help us meet the needs of our utility operations while also supporting New York's clean energy transition. The winner of our first competition, announced in December, was Prisma Photonics. Prisma is working with us to advance a sensor-free transmission line detection system that will help us improve grid safety, security, and reliability. We are now working with Prisma on a new technology aimed at advancing the efficient delivery of clean power statewide. The second Smart Energy Challenge will culminate in an award of up to $1 million, and we will give one or more companies the opportunity to work with NYPA to scale up their technology and test their innovations in pilot demonstration projects. If successful, the application may be deployed at NYPA and other large utilities. And we're accepting proposals as of today, February 2nd, 2022, our official memorable launch date. Alan will give us additional challenge details in a few minutes. But first, it's my distinct pleasure to introduce our innovation and collaboration-minded colleague, Israel's Economic Minister for North America, Anat Katz. Anat?
Thank you very much, Justin, and thank you very much, everybody. So hi, everybody. My name is Anat Katz. I'm the Economic Minister on behalf of the government of Israel. I'm based here in New York. It is a great pleasure to be standing here also in person in this very exciting facility of NYPA as NYPA's guest. So first of all, I would like to thank Justin Driscoll, NYPA's interim president, Alan Edlinger, the Senior Director for Research and Development and Innovation, which is really the living spirit, I think, over the years. And, and today you're going to hear from him about this entire challenge and opportunity. And of course, acknowledge the additional speakers that were mentioned, Dr. Gideon Friedman, the Chief Scientist of the Ministry of Energy, who will share with us more about the energy space and the energy sector in Israel, as well as Elad Shaviv, the Executive Director of the Israel Smart Energy Association. And we will have, as Justin mentioned, a taped message from Asaf Zamir, the Consul General. After paying my dues, I do want to say that I think that this is no coincidence that two leaders have come together, in this challenge. We heard from Justin about NYPA, right? And why NYPA is a leader. It's a leader in America. It's a leader in the world. I think this is no coincidence that when NYPA wants to innovate, it is partnering with Israel and with Israeli technologies. As many of you probably know, we have over 400 companies in clean tech in Israel, and they do many things, including in renewables, energy storage, energy efficiency, and many, many, many other sectors. This represents a huge innovation opportunity, I think, both for NYPA as well as for many others. And I do want to take this opportunity, to share this not only with our Israeli friends, but also with some American friends that are hopefully joining this event. I think that NYPA is a leader in more than one way. I think that it leads by example, and this is an example that I do hope that many others will follow. Our office, our economic mission, basically connects between Israeli companies and companies, entities, government agencies in our region, in the United States, for collaboration purposes such as this. This is a fantastic example of the type of things that jointly we can create together. So I do want to encourage everybody to reach out to us, anybody who's seeking collaboration, and we will be very, very happy to facilitate the contact. And last but not least, you know that in Hebrew we have a saying, L'shana ba'a beYerushalayim, next year in Jerusalem. So from here, I'm calling to our NYPA friends, and we spoke about this before, and to other American parties, not next year, but this year in Israel. And also, I want to reiterate Justin's call, and Ellen will elaborate later, for all our Israeli friends that are joining. This is a fantastic and unique opportunity to collaborate with a leading power. It's a power authority, so needless to say, but a leading power in America. This is a huge opportunity to work with the leader here and basically to translate this into something much bigger that can be developed and implemented both in America and beyond. And I do call for all the companies, to kind of make the effort, learn the program, and submit your application. What I want to see is NYPA drowning in applications, so much so that it would have to pick more than one company, right? Because it's going to have so many good offers. So for our American friends for this year in Jerusalem, and for our Israeli friends for this year and for next year, physically here in NYPA. So thank you very much for that. And now, without further ado, I do want to introduce the Consul General, Asaf Zamir, and he's going to provide his comments in a pre-recorded video message. Thank you.
Good morning and Boker Tov to our friends in New York and across the United States. Good evening to our friends in Israel. Erev Tov. I'm excited and privileged to open this event this morning, an event that features a special initiative that brings together the energy and innovation communities of both New York and Israel. It is always exciting to see the deep and historical friendship between Israel and New York in action. Today, I could not be more thrilled to see our special relationship bridged across smart energy, an industry that will improve lives, strengthen infrastructure, and heal the very environment connecting New Yorkers and Israelis from thousands of miles away. The collaboration and the eco-supporting technologies developed from and validated in it may very well produce an impact that will hopefully be felt around the globe. As many of you probably know, Israel was a pioneer in utilizing at-scale sustainable sources of energy, with approximately 90% of homes in Israel using solar receptors to heat water. Today, Israel boasts nearly 250 energy-related startups and is a leader in sustainable innovation solutions across various verticals such as commercial and residential energy usage control, electric vehicles, storage solutions, energy generation, and more. I would like to extend my sincere appreciation to Governor Hochul and her administration, including Empire State Development, for supporting the program. The continuation of this great annual innovation competition will keep New Yorkers and the State of Israel working together as we lead the world to a more sustainable future. I also wish to thank NYPA's CEO, Justin Driscoll, NYPA's Director for R&D and Innovation, Alan Edlinger, and the NYPA family as a whole. As an industry leader and important institution in our region, NYPA has provided a wonderful home for Israeli innovation, and the NY Israel Smart Energy Challenge is a great manifestation of this win-win relationship. Finally, I would like to thank the partners on the Israeli side, the Israel Smart Energy Association, and our very own Israel Economic Mission to North America for their active support for this special program. My congratulations to all, and I wish us all a successful and robust new challenge competition. Your spirit of collaboration and creativity continues to inspire our two peoples. Thank you.
Thank you for all the greetings. So my name is Elad Shaviv, and first of all, I would like to thank New York Power Authority and specifically Justin Driscoll and Alan Edlinger for their close cooperation and continuous cooperation with us. Maybe I'll just say a few words about the Israeli Smart Energy Association and EnergyCom. They are both an initiative to drive Israel and to position Israel as a leader in the changing energy market, to expand local energy research, create new ventures, job creation, and improve local energy market and contribute to Israel's sustainable economic growth. The EnergyCom is being managed by the Israeli Smart Energy Association and Eilat Elot, and this is an initiative that was initiated by the Israeli Ministry of Economy, the Israeli Ministry of Energy, and the Israeli Innovation Authority. And we are really excited to cooperate with the New York Power Authority, which is a leading player in the smart energy space for the second time now. The long-standing cooperation that we have with New York Power Authorization is really an excellent example of how a leading power utility can drive innovation while opening the door for companies to show and test their technologies and jointly develop solutions that can benefit the energy industry around the world. So I would like to invite Dr. Gideon Friedman, the chief scientist from the Israeli Ministry of Energy, to speak about Israel energy and climate tech innovation and plans. Gideon, please.
Hi, good evening and good morning to all the participants. I'm very happy to participate in this webinar. It's a great opportunity that NIPA is offering everyone. I'm very excited as someone who's dealing daily with innovation and looking on how to advance innovation. So this is a great opportunity, both financially, of course, but I think more so because it opens the market. It gives access to a very large scale and very experienced company, which will assist any startup with innovation. Having said that, I will say in a few words, very briefly, the challenges that we see in Israel, which are maybe surprisingly, maybe not, very similar in many ways to what is facing NIPA, which actually prompted them to offer this challenge. So Israel has set a target of 30% renewable energy by the year 2030. It's a big jump for us from the roughly 9% that we are currently at. And we have 9 years to reach there. We are also a growing country, so it's not only 20% because the growth over this period of 20 years is 30% growth in the electricity market, probably at least. So the challenge is to reach from less than 10% to 30% of a higher number. We will rely mostly in the renewables on the solar energy. This is a difference probably from what faces New York. However, solar energy has some aspects which I think are shared with New York. One is the grid issue. We need to transmit the energy from the periphery of Israel to the central country. This is in Israel a great challenge because the country is very densely populated. It's very difficult to put new lines. So we are exploring ways on how to do it. Innovation can come, for example, from DC transmission. We are looking into that, and we will be happy to see innovation there in the transformation stations between AC and DC is a big challenge. Also, maybe DC may be interesting for a local network, because most of our equipment today at home is DC equipment. So perhaps we can think about innovation there. A second area, which is really important for us because solar energy is not existent all year round. Of course, daily we have the nighttime with no sun, and in the winter there's a big difference in the solar energy production compared to the summer. So we need to find the storage solutions. Now, there are many questions on how to handle storage, where to put the storage. Should we put it at the generation side? Should we put it on the grid? Should we put it at the consumer side? These need to be managed, of course. There is still a lot of question marks on how to do the energy management. There is a lot of room to collect information for artificial intelligence, all of these nice words that were mentioned in the call by NIPA. Also, I would like to mention in a couple more words the storage issue. In Israel, at least for solar, we need to keep all our gas system running as a backup. This is a great waste because we need to invest in the capital of both the solar system, the renewable system, and the gas backup that we need to keep at all times. If we could do long-term storage, which is also the short-term storage, can we find a solution that will work daily and also for the long term? This will be a great capital cost savings because we will just use the same system for the daily needs and the long-term needs. Otherwise, the long-term needs will be separate. We'll need a separate system. And again, the great capital cost for just a few times of use during the year. So the challenges are great. And also I'm meeting a lot of entrepreneurs with amazing ideas. And so I'm very happy that NIPA is offering the Israeli entrepreneurs the opportunity to work with them and present their solutions. Let me now call to the stage the main speaker of today, Alan Edlinger. He's the Senior Director of Research, Tech Development and Innovation, R&D Innovation at NIPA, and he will provide all the details on the new challenge. Mr. Edlinger.
The first line.
Baruchim haba malak kulam. Beinim bakan ba'atzas abris, o be'eretz Yisrael. Shmi Alan Edlinger. I'm Alan Edlinger, and I'm the New York Power Authority Senior Director of Research, Technology Development, and Innovation. I'm pleased to present to you today the details of the 2022 NIPA Israel Challenge. I'll be explaining who the Power Authority is, what we do, and provide you with some insights into the technologies that we are looking for in this challenge. After which I will discuss the challenge details, including the application requirements, evaluation criteria, and the project timeline. The slides that I will be presenting will be available this afternoon on our website, which is the only official website for the challenge. To comply fully with the New York State's procurement process, I will not be taking any questions. The challenge website provides you with the email address of the procurement designated contact for any and all questions that you may have about this challenge. You have entered this session with an email address, and so we will be able to communicate any and all questions to everybody who's registered. In addition, this presentation and a recording of the events of today will be made available later on the Power Authority's website, so no need to take notes. So a little bit about the history of the Power Authority. Justin Driscoll, our CEO, presented some of the details, but it's important that you understand what the Power Authority is, where we have come from, and what our challenges are, and where we are going over the next decade. This will help you to provide a better application that addresses our needs. We were founded by Franklin Roosevelt in 1931. We have roughly 2,000 plus employees, and we are governed by a 7-member board. Our revenue sources are power contracts, generation, and energy efficient projects. In addition, a number of years ago, the New York State canals were transferred from the New York State Thruway Authority into the Power Authority. And we have a little bit over 500 miles of canals across the US. We have roughly 6,000 plus megawatts of low cost energy, power that we produce. 83% of our generation is renewable, coming from hydroelectric. This is the cleanest conventional fleet in the state. We have roughly 1,400 miles of transmission, and a third of which provides, as you can see on this diagram, the backbone for New York State's grid. We have over $200 million in energy services businesses, primarily focused on efficiency. We provide low-cost power, which drives the economic development in New York State. We also have a AA credit rating from our agencies. The slide is busy, and once again, we'll have it available on our website after this meeting. So New York State is committed to deep carbonization, and we are fundamentally changing the energy landscape in New York State. We have an accredited renewable energy growth and Community Benefit Act in New York State. And the Power Authority is leading the way in what we call our CLCPA, which is the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act. We have 100% carbon-free goal by 2040, 40% reduction in our greenhouse gas emissions by 2030, 9 gigawatts of offshore wind, 3 gigawatts of energy storage, and also 35% of this energy is to be used to benefit disadvantaged communities. And this is really what is driving the Power Authority as we go forward. New York's, the Power Authority's vision is to have a thriving, resilient New York State powered by clean energy. Our mission is to lead the transition to a carbon-free, economically vibrant New York through customer partnerships, innovative energy solutions, and the responsible supply of affordable, clean, and reliable electricity. Our values. Our values of the Power Authority are to work for a greater good and a stronger sustainability in New York State. We hold ourselves to the highest standards of integrity, safety, and excellence. We are resilient and we use our ingenuity to make big things happen. We draw strength from our diversity. Everyone contributes, everybody belongs. And we work as one team, putting our trust and confidence in each other. NYPA's Vision 2030. Our Vision 2030 is really our strategic priorities and our strategic plan going into the next decade. It's built on 5 priorities. First, preserve and enhance the values of our hydropower assets as a core source of carbon-free power and a flexibility and resilience as the state's grid evolves. Second is to be the leading transmission developer, owner, and operator for New York State and its changing needs. Third, to pioneer the path to decarbonization by acting as a testbed for innovation while ensuring reliability, resilience, and affordability of the state's energy grid. Fourth, partner with our customers and the state to meet their energy goals in alignment with the CLCPA that I mentioned earlier, and by providing clean and affordable energy along with innovative customer solutions. And last, but certainly not least, to repurpose the New York State canal system for the economic, recreational benefit of New Yorkers while driving operational efficiency. Foundational pillars on which these 5 strategic priorities are built include digitization, environmental, social, and governance, diversity, equity, and inclusion, enterprise resilience, and resource alignment. Hydropower, one of our pillars. We're going to double down on the advocacy for policy and market rules by recognizing hydro benefits to the grid. We want to retain our assets in a state of good repair, including life extension and modernization at the Robert Moses Niagara plant, otherwise known as Niagara Falls. We want to improve the competitiveness of our hydro plants in the market. And fourth, we want to evaluate alternatives for contracting or offtake arrangements. Next is transmission. We want to invest 200 to 400 million annually to grow NYPA's transmission asset base by 3 to 5 times by 2030. We want to focus on our transmission portfolio on the right projects, both balancing system needs and returns, including our wider state objectives. We want to accelerate New York State's most critical transmission projects in support of the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act. And lastly, we want to increase our focus on transmission as the core business within NYPA, with leading compatibilities and in planning and development of project delivery and asset management. Next, natural gas. We want to act as a test bed for innovation, developing and demonstrating new low to zero carbon technologies. We want to evaluate the economic performance of our gas fleet and advocate for market rules and policies that recognize its value. And third, we want to partner to reinforce our own capabilities and educate the public and bring a clear set of directions to get from pilot to scale. Customer in the state. We want to grow our electricity supply business by pursuing the right opportunities with existing customers and under one expanded authority. We want to support our customers in the state by providing 70% renewable energy supply in a cost-effective manner. Third, we want to empower our customers to decarbonize by serving as a trusted energy advisor and providing integrated energy solutions. We want to ensure that our business is financially sustainable to serve our customers and the state. And fifth, we want to expand our internal capabilities with an integrated energy solution offering. And our last pillar is to reimagine the canals. We want to demonstrate the recreational and economic value of the canal system by investing in projects that provide tangible civic benefits and drive operational efficiency. We want to work with technology and regional councils to ensure local government is engaged. We want to have new capital from a broader set of public and private investors. And lastly, we want to drive more efficient ways of working within the New York Power Authority and Canal Corporation through a refined operating model. So these are the foundational pillars to execute our mission: digitization, environment, social and governance, diversity, equity and inclusion, enterprise resilience, and resource alignment. And once again, a lot of detail here. The slides will be available for you to look at after this meeting. One of the core developments in the last couple of years that has bringing the Power Authority into the next generation is digitization, and this primarily includes our integrated smart operations center. Any and all technologies that will be monitoring our assets will be brought in here so that we can monitor, not necessarily monitor day-to-day activities, but monitor long-term issues that may be developing to save our assets and to make sure our assets can provide what they are intended to do. So the Smart Energy Challenge is going to bring together, hopefully, some of these building blocks: cyber, blockchain, big data analytics, renewables, energy efficiency, energy storage, applications, and electric vehicles. And these are just some of the foundations that we're looking to include in NYPA's portfolio. So the NYPA Israel Energy Innovation Hub is an ongoing process. We've worked, as we've heard before from our previous speakers, for a number of years to get to this point. The 2020 challenge is completed, and we'll now engage in the 2022 challenges that are facing us. The Israel Energy Innovation Hub, which has been created, is to introduce Israeli innovation to NYPA and other utilities and jointly capture new opportunities in the distributed energy market. Technologies we're looking for are end user applications, cybersecurity, smart cities, blockchain and energy trade, management and analytics, buildings and energy, artificial intelligence, distributed energy solutions, energy storage, grid modernization, microgrids, electric vehicles, communications, and virtual reality. So at this time, the New York Power Authority is launching our new competition, the 2022 NYPA and Israel Smart Energy Challenge, for innovative Israeli firms to support the next generation of the energy evolution. Submittals are restricted to companies headquarters in the state of Israel. Selected companies will work with NYPA on a pilot application that, after success, may be deployed at NYPA and other large utilities in the United States and around the world. For our part, NYPA will provide, in addition to the financing, advanced grid integration lab, Agile, for testing and simulation, extensive domain knowledge and requirement definitions, and act as a reference utility as the product matures. The challenge is going to benefit both sides. It'll provide a cost-effective platform for NYPA to source innovative solutions. It'll introduce the benefits of a New York presence to Israeli clean tech startups. The challenge awardees can leverage NYPA resources as applicable to showcase and test their solutions. As I mentioned before, we have the Agile Lab, New York Power Authority grid and facilities, and customer resources to join in this venture. We're going to help Israeli companies with international business expansion, and NYPA stakeholders, whether it's the Electric Power Research Institute, some of our third-party engagement companies, and who are having the similar issues. This will allow the Israeli companies to engage with them as well. So the challenge is going to focus on technologies that support New York's clean energy transmission and NYPA's strategic priorities. We'll partner with our customers in the state to meet the energy goals by providing clean and affordable energy, along with the innovative customer solutions. Technologies of interest, once again, are distributed energy, which could include batteries, thermal or mechanical energy storage, building electrification, including heat pumps, decarbonization of customer fuel use, including natural gas alternatives, electric transportation, charging and related infrastructure, building energy metering and clean energy data analytics, building disinfection technologies, and technologies that enable virtual, remote, or touchless site assessments, construction management, and asset management, including possibly drones, robots, cameras, and related software tools. We're going to pioneer the path to decarbonization by acting as a test bed for innovation while still ensuring reliability, resilience, and affordability of New York State's energy grid. We're going to preserve and enhance the value of our hydropower assets as a core source of carbon-free power for flexibility and resilience as the state's grid evolves. We're going to be a leading transmission developer as the owner and operator for New York State and its changing needs. Technologies of interest we've just discussed. And finally, once again, repurpose the New York State canal system for economic and recreational benefit of New Yorkers. So what is going to be the evaluation criteria for your application? There are 10 items that we will be looking at in all applications. Innovation of the product, solution, or technology. The feasibility, how feasible is it for deployment in NYPA's market? What technical advantages does the technology bring? What team do you bring to the table, including skills and the background to execute your solution? We'll be looking at competition, viability, and the added value of the solution as compared to other competitors in the market. What is your business model or business plan? And what is its clear value to NYPA? And do you have the ability to replicate and scale for other utilities, most especially New York utilities? Does the technology align with the New York Power Authority's strategic goals, which is one of the reasons we went through the goals just a few minutes ago? What is your financial viability? And what is your ability to generate sustainable market value and commercial viability? What maturity do you bring to the table? NYPA is focused on technology readiness level 3 to 6. And finally, legal. What is the ease of doing business with you? And what has been your experience with other providers? Applications. All applications need to be submitted on the 2022 NYPA and Israel Smart Challenge Energy Challenge website. The website is here. And once again, it'll be posted on our main NYPA website this afternoon. During the restricted period, applicants must communicate only with a designated procurement contact. Email address is here, manuel.hamalian@nipa.gov. There's a restricted period, which is the time commencing with the earliest written notice, which is going to be this afternoon, advertisement or solicitation of the application, and ending with the final contract award. During that period, all communication with the Power Authority must go through our procurement contact. Confidentiality. All documents submitted by you are subject to disclosure of the New York State Legal Authority. All confidential information must be clearly marked. Any late application or incomplete submissions may be disqualified. Again, to repeat, no faxed or email applications. Everything must be submitted as will be detailed in the coming slides. Change notifications will be posted on the NIPA and Israel Challenge website. This will include any questions that we get. So any questions we receive, any and all questions will be posted on our website along with the Power Authority's response. The Power Authority reserves the right to extend, cancel, and or adjust funding of the solicitation. Expenses incurred in the preparation of this proposal or your proposal will be at your sole cost and expense. And finally, once again, the NIPA and Israel Smart Energy Challenge is restricted to companies headquartered in the state of Israel. This may be considered by some to be a little bit burdening, but this is a method that we use to ensure that this challenge will meet any and all New York State submittals and our obligation under New York State procurement, and to ensure that this will be fair and equitable to everybody. The timeline. Today is the pre-bid webcast, February 2nd, or as I was told before, 2/2/22. Applications will be open tomorrow, again on our website. Question period opens tomorrow. Question period closes on March 28th. The applications close on April 11th at 4 p.m. New York time. The winners will be announced on or around June 15th, 2022. And our plan is to execute contracts and initiate a project or projects in September of 2022. And again, to be repetitive, all 2022 challenge information, including a copy of this webcast and an updated Q&A log, are going to be posted on the challenge website, and that information, that URL is listed here. So thank you very much. Thanks to Anat for attending. Thanks to our CEO, Justin. And most importantly, thanks to the 95 people who have already entered into this webcast. We look forward to your applications and hope that this will be a successful challenge, both to the Power Authority and to the Israeli companies. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Alan. I think that this is an excellent opportunity, and thank you for the very clear presentation of also what are you looking for, what are the rules. I think this really helps companies when they approach it. And I can say from personal experience that it's not easy for Israeli young companies to work with a leading utility. And I think that NIPA has proved again and again that they are open to work with Israeli companies, with young companies. They understand the challenges. And we have here the opportunity to hear from from 3 Israeli companies that have experience working with NIPA about their experience. Just before I ask the representatives of those companies to speak, I would like also to mention Doron Gover, who actually led and lead all the cooperation between NIPA and the Israeli companies. And he's, I think, an important person also with all this success. So I would like to ask 3 representatives from Prisma Photonics, from Emprest, and from Brent Miller to speak briefly about what they do and how they did it with NIPA, Ron Halperin from Empress. If you can please start.
Sure. Do you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you well.
Great. So thanks a lot. My name is Ron Halpern, and I'm Impress Chief Commercial Officer. Impress is known for being the analytics and orchestration software behind the Israeli Iron Dome missile interception system. About 10 years ago, we embarked on an industrial IoT journey, and NIPA was at the time and still is a key contributor to our strategic decision, and that decision ended focusing us on the Internet of Energy market. We engaged with NIPA approximately 7 years ago, and this was part of a Bird Foundation project. And the project goal was to develop a monitoring and control product which would predict critical failures in transmission transformers. This ability is very important for NIPA, and it's also critical for other utilities worldwide. Now, our partnering with NIPA offered us values in many levels. So I start off by saying that Impress, when we started out, our core competencies were in software orchestration, analytics, and control. And it's thanks to NIPA that we've gained the required expertise in transformer health management. And as a result, we jointly developed the market-leading transformer health management product. Now, if we look at the utility market in general, the utility market is a conservative market with high barriers of entry. And like any individual needs someone to trust them, and NIPA was the company and the partner who trusted us. They gave us guidance. They gave us credibility that we required in order to become a player and a market leader in the energy market. And we definitely appreciate that. Now, in addition to serving as our reference customer for other transformer health management customers, another benefit is that NIPA serves as a general reference for us, for any energy customer, and by the way, for any customer from that perspective. So there's a true partnership. So our relationship with NIPA is dual. It's that of a customer, but first and foremost, it's of a partner. And I really want to thank them for that partnership. NIPA coached us and continues to coach us on this journey in order to better Impress as a utility-worthy software vendor. Our experience through our relationship with NIPA isn't only NIPA, it's NIPA and the state of New York. And I'd like to thank both NIPA and the state of New York for its innovation and for its proactively seeking out Israeli technologies. This is something which we benefited from personally, obviously, and we continue to benefit from. So if I just look back at our IoT journey and our current focus of the Internet of Energy, it's clear that NIPA played and continues to play a major role in this journey. And I could just wish upon everyone such a partnership, such a relationship, and such a fundamental effect on your companies. So thank you, NIPA, and thank you, the state of New York.
Thanks, Ron. And I think that, you know, the fact that you can hear here from 3 companies that have been working with NIPA is extremely valuable. By the way, I didn't mention before, and Alan said that unfortunately we cannot have Q&As for the challenge itself, but we will have a few minutes for Q&As to those companies. So thanks, Ron. And Avi Brandmiller, if I may ask you to present your Brandmiller Energy and your cooperation with NIPA.
Okay, I'm Avi Brandmiller, and I founded with 2 of my sons Brandmiller Energy, and we developed thermal storage technology, which the heat coming from this thermal storage can be used either to heat buildings, steam industry, or generate power in big power plants. We have developed this technology for the last 10 years. We have patented this technology, and we now in a stage where we put pilots of our project in 4 countries around the world. And the project we run with NIPA and State University of New York, SUNY, at Purchase, is actually a cogeneration project where we took a gas turbine install of 250 kW. We install it, we take the exhaust heat which comes out of the turbine, and we heat water on demand, which means there is never a situation where you have a cogeneration and you're using the heat and the electricity at the same time. Being able to monitor and deliver the heat on demand is increasing the efficiency of such a cogeneration system by 35%, and your yearly savings of energy by 25%. We are now commissioning the unit, and we will have it working by the first quarter, by the end of March of this year. Now, we are doing this project together and being funded partially by BIRD and NIPA and us ourselves. And we find NIPA as a great partner. It's not just NIPA's organization, it's also the people that are dealing with us on a daily basis. Alan Edlinger, we saw him earlier, and Steve Vicky, where we get all the help from those guys by doing the following things. First, we got the opportunity to put a pilot in the US. It's not an easy one on the energy market for an Israeli startup company to get a pilot in the US. The energy industry is very conservative, and for someone to take the risk and putting a pilot in operation is taking a risk, and we appreciate the opportunity that we got. Now, what we do together is actually each party is giving its own part. Well, we are giving the technology, NIPA is giving us all the know-how, all the ability to put and install such a system inside the energy system. And while we do it, we enjoy NIPA reputation. We are getting NIPA reputation to be used for other projects to be developed. So it's a great opportunity given to us by NIPA. We are de-risking the project. We have partners who know what needs to be done on the local market, which is a great asset. And everything is done on a daily basis on each detail. So this is a very critical help that we get from NIPA. And we really see each other as partners. NIPA is huge, we are small, but we treat each other very fairly, very open on each step along a long way. And we get this commitment, NIPA. This is not something you get for a typical customer on the marketplace. So this is very unusual, very, very helpful. And going forward, we are really looking for more collaboration with NIPA. And whoever can get and participate in this competition and get a project with NIPA, it's a great asset. And we really appreciate and thank NIPA and the state of New York for giving us this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Avi. Very good. And we'll move now to Eran Bar from Prisma Photonics, who actually won the previous challenge, so can share the whole experience. So Eran, please.
Thank you very much. And my name is Eran Bar, CEO of Prisma Photonics. I will start with the brief just to explain what we are doing and then dive into the challenge and the benefits that we got out of it. Our solution, which is called Prisma Power, is a novel solution for grid monitoring based on pre-existing fiber optics cables. And since NIPA, they have a wide coverage of fiber optics cables along the transmission line, we can basically monitor the transmission line without the need to install any sensor. So it's a very cost-effective and very simple way to get a very precise monitoring. And I would like to say that before the challenge, in a very early stage, we already did a long and successful pilot with NIPA. So we came in a very early stage, demonstrate or present the capability of the technology, and they opened the gate and allow us to do a 6-month pilot on the transmission line, which make a strong validation for the technology. And in this pilot, we demonstrate the ability to detect in real time multiple events along the grid, safety, security, predictive maintenance, and so on. And I would just give one example, which is related to the challenge that we submit later on. It was the ability to basically give a score to each tower and tower along the grid, and based on it, do a very focused and precise predictive maintenance. So we can save a lot of money and be very effective in the predictive maintenance aspect. And that's something that was very intriguing to NIPA, and we submitted as a challenge, and we're doing it right now together, developing this capability to analyze the trends of the behavior along the grid and basically make a very robust, very reliable grid by analyzing anomalies and understanding the trend of the grid, and can do a very precise predictive maintenance, and not, like a standard equal process as it is today. And I think that this is well in the scope of NIPA, of the vision of NIPA, digitalization of the grid and make it more reliable and more robust and more efficient. And in the process, what we find, it's not only a customer, but it's a real partner that, working with him, we can learn, what is important to the customer, we can develop the product. And this challenge is a way for us to going from a pilot and demonstration into something that bringing real value to the customer. And this is a big benefit. And of course, the other benefit is having a strong reference in the US. And yeah, we would like to thank here for our friends at NIPA for making it from a simple pilot into real cooperation, something which is very important for us, and would like to thank for it.
Thank you very much, Eran. So I just wrote here on the chat, I don't know if there are any questions to the three panelists here. We can take one or two questions. Basically, we wanted to wrap it all in 1 hour, but we knew that we may have a few minutes late. I don't know, Alan or Susan, if you want to say a few words before we wrap it up.
Thank you, Elad. Thank you to our panelists. Once again, just to be repetitive, the video for this event, including the slide deck, will be available on our website. We encourage you to take a look, participate, and join us in the exciting adventure that we're engaged in our Vision 2030. So thank you very much. I think the Power Authority will not participate in any questions and answers, as was noted before. Once again, those questions and answers on the challenge need to be directed directly to Manuel Hamelin. His email is provided. And so with that, I'll turn it back to Elad, and he can open it up for a chat discussion with any of the participants to ask the panelists questions. Once again, thank you very much.
Thanks, Alan, and thanks to all the speakers. I think that this was a lot of very good and helpful information. I don't see any specific questions coming up right now, so I think that we'll just end with this. And thank you, everyone, including all the attendees, for your participation. And looking forward for what I'm sure going to be another great challenge and opportunity for cooperation. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.